Welcome to Bring Women Back to Work podcast, the space where ambition meets possibility. Here we elevate the voices of women returning to the workforce, amplifying the leaders who champion them and challenge the system that hold them back. Each episode brings honest stories, experts' insights, and actionable strategies that empower women to step boldly into their next chapter with confidence, clarity, and community. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement to redesign the workplace for a future where women rise, lead, and thrive.
Hi everyone, I'm Natalie Alexander. I'm part of the team at Bring Women Back to Work. We're really excited to be back in 2026 with our first episode, and we're doing this episode as part of our Rise Together series, which really helps us to look at mentoring and coaching as support systems for women returning to work, either those in the Bring Women Back to Work program or anyone listening that's thinking about coming back to work and is looking for a space to have advice and find community. I'm very happy to have with us today one of the coaches in the Bring Women Back to Work program, Dal Maso Lino. Isis, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure to be here.
We're really happy to have you with us. Before we launch in to look at coaching, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became a coach for BWBW.
So I've always been fascinated with topics regarding self-awareness, self-development, the subconscious mind. It was always something that fascinated me. And I've been working most of my career in tech. So I went through Microsoft, Meta, Google, and it has always been very stressful and a male-dominant space. And at some point at Google, I felt that I really needed a coach. And I got a coach, and it really, honestly, it completely shifted my way of seeing work and behaving towards life. And I thought, oh my God, this is so transformative. And at that time, I was going through a very rough moment. It was a very difficult moment in my life that my husband moved to Switzerland. I was living in Ireland. And I come from Brazil, by the way. So I forgot to mention that I was living almost 7 years in Ireland, and I had to change countries to Switzerland, search for a new job. Google was, it was the pandemic time. So I was working at Google. They froze. There was a massive job freeze. So I couldn't move to the next job. And all my insecurities were coming, right? When we're seeking for a job and nothing is happening, it's just so frustrating. And the coaching truly helped me. And in 2020, exactly the year of the pandemic, I decided to go for a full coaching certification, professional coaching certification. And that's how I became a coach. Yeah.
Amazing. So you were inspired by the fact that you went through a coaching experience.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think it's also very interesting and inspiring to hear that you are from Brazil, you moved to Ireland, then you moved to Switzerland. I think a lot of women in the community can relate to that and how challenging that can be to find yourself in a whole new environment. So not just establishing your life, but then trying to find a job again.
Absolutely. Honestly, there are the whole components. And that's what I consider a true coach when you're looking at people as a whole. We are whole. We are not these boxes of this is my work box, this is my family box, this is health. Everything is combined. And if we're not aware of all these spaces in our lives and how much space they take of our energy, we may feel lost. So it's really a way of integrating all of these aspects, because indeed it's not only about work when you're searching for a job, right? We have all these elements that builds us. Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you how you came to be a coach for Bring Women Back to Work. Why does coaching women matter to you personally?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. So back at Google, right before I became a coach, I started participating on trainings, on Train the Trainer. So I became a trainer for a very famous course nowadays, but back then it was only from Google, that it's called I'm Remarkable. And another training that it's called the mindfulness training. And I realized how many women were, I'm Remarkable was only made for women, but how many women were in all of these trainings. And it was honestly, it was always a common topic. The fact that women are less confident to speak for themselves, to speak up about their achievements and move on. And I'm remarkable in the course specifically. It talks about how women behave differently towards work and promotion than men. So it just fascinated me, the topic. So since then, I was really intrigued by the topic. And when I was doing coaching at Google, so when I was going through the coaching certification, I was coaching several people, and I sent a massive email to everyone saying, hey, coaching, free coaching, who wants to coach?
Free coaching,
And
anyone who wants.
and I did over 100 hours of coaching, but only women came to me. It was unbelievable.
Amazing.
I had
Interesting.
out of 35 people that I coached during my Google time, actually maybe more, but the ones that I counted, there were only women, and there was one man that came.
Wow.
So over time, it just became naturally, it became somehow my expertise, simply because I was so much on those same topics and things that frustrate women and these unconscious biases that we carry and inherited of insecurities. So then when I came across, so I moved to Switzerland with HP. So I had to change completely my career when I moved to Switzerland. And I was really missing my coaching time, generally missing my coaching time. And I wanted to find purpose, meaning into coaching again and coaching people that I could see that I make an impact. So I was searching on LinkedIn for institutions, and I find Bring Women Back to Work. And I was just so
the rest is history.
The rest is history, exactly. Yeah.
We're so lucky to have you. I want to now look at what coaching means a bit more in detail. And for those in the community, the Bring Women Back to Work program, they have both a mentor and a coach as part of the year-long program, which is amazing. I'd like for us to just really start with the basics. How do you define coaching for someone who's never worked with a coach before?
This question is great. And that's the first thing I focus in the first session is what do you expect from coach and explaining coach. So first of all, coach is not about giving advices. So a lot of the people that come to me, they're expecting me to tell them what to do. But that's the behavior that we do throughout all of our lives. Often we're seeking for advice, we're seeking for perspective from others, from outside, outwards, inwards, and not the opposite. So first of all, coaching is about helping you find the answers within you. So coaching are pretty much guidance and questioning techniques. So I can help the person that I'm coaching to take new perspectives, to search inside themselves and find the answers. We all have all the answers that we need, and they're all within us. So that's the first thing. The second thing I mentioned is the fact that I hold a mirror for the person that I'm coaching. So I mentioned that I'm a white Canva or a mirror, and I really want you to help you to see beyond what you're not seeing, because we have a lot in our subconscious mind that we behave, and unconsciously that we behave without truly meaning and paying attention on our words, our thoughts, our beliefs. So it's really, I'm holding the mirror and I'm looking at the body language, actively listening, and through mirroring, I'm trying to help you see. So holding the mirror and being a white Canva. These are the main aspects about coaching. And I always mention, if I see an opportunity of bringing in a device based on the context that the person brought, I will pause and say, hey, I'm putting my mentor hat here. Because I don't like when I don't want people to make the confusion actually between mentoring and coaching. So I do that often. Yeah.
Interesting point. And that I also wanted to ask you about that. What would you say is the difference between mentoring and coaching? Because I liked your analogy that you take off your coaching hat and with the person you might be working with, you say, now is my mentor hat. What is the difference between a coach and a mentor?
So a mentor will bring their personal perspectives to the table, right? We all have our own personal perspectives based on our life experiences. So a mentor will bring that to the other person, to the mentee. While a coach shouldn't bring their personal perspectives. They're bringing a device or something based on their biases. So ideally, what a coach is doing is asking the right questions at the right time and creating guidance and a thought that will be helpful for the other person, and a thought that will help the other person tap their creativity, change perspectives on something that perhaps is it's making them stuck, and really help this person boom on the topic that they are reaching for. We call it the North Star. We always talk about finding. Let's create a topic that you really want, what you really want to achieve, and then let's work these coaching sessions towards that topic.
Are there different types of coaches though as well? Because I've seen you can maybe have a business coach, a coach for more your life. How can someone also figure out what type of coach is kind of right for their season of life?
That's a great question, and also complex question. So what happens is that there are several professional coaching certifications. What is really tricky is that coaching is not officialized as a profession. So I have also coaching is my side job. I have my main job in tech. And what is tricky is the fact that there are so many courses, so many certifications, so many trainings, that it's hard to define coaching in one single word. So what I would say, and what I would definitely advise people, is to look for this people profile, feel it in your gut. If it's someone that seems it matches the profile and what you're searching for. For instance, executive coaching, let's say coaching for leaders, and career coaching, read about their profile. What are they offering? And have the first session. And usually they offer the first session for free. So you can have that experience with them to see if it really matches. Because often coaches, they categorize themselves in topics. But in reality, let's say in quote marks, a true coach is a little bit more holistic. Because indeed, when you share too many topics, you're not looking for the actual root cause of a certain behavior. So I can give you an example, right? A career coach can focus entirely on career and helping the person like find the energy to build the right CV and move on with their careers. But if they're not integrating other aspects that it's bringing that person to a certain insecurity in that behavior, then the root cause is really not looked at. So ideally, a coach will look a little bit of everything, but then they will focus on a specific area that the person is interested in working on. So yeah, you will see all coach titles and people with completely different trainings and completely different certifications, and that's really complex. Yeah.
Yeah. So how then can someone go about deciding what type of coach might be best for them? Besides first an initial meeting where you see if you're compatible, if it's a good fit for you, are there any questions you could ask yourself to kind of identify which coaching experience would be best for you at that point in time?
So honestly, the first question is, what do I really want? This is the main question. What am I truly expecting from coach? Am I expecting a career growth? Am I expecting a new job? Am I expecting more fulfillment in my life? Really ask yourself deeply. And a very interesting exercise is about the why. If you have difficulties in finding the why, ask more whys. So you're going to write down, you're going to take a paper and write down, what do I really want from this? And let's say, let it come up without judgment, because we tend to judge ourselves all the time. Without judgment, write down the first thing that comes up. And then ask yourself again, so why did I write that? And then answer it again. And then you can ask yourself again, why am I writing that? You can ask yourself up to 7 or 10 whys until you really get to the root of it. Yeah. What is really making me be interested in coach? Is the root of it my lack of confidence? Is the root of it the fact that I feel that I don't have enough knowledge within the topic, let's say building a CV? And based on that root, you will search for the coach or the mentor. It's okay. It's all right. You can search for a mentor. And you will search based on that specific root cause, the topic that you've selected there. No judgment, judgment, because we tend to judge ourselves all the time when specifically in cases like that we really go deeper.
Yeah, really good advice. So just say we are now with a Bring Women Back to Work participant. They're just going to start beginning their coaching experience, or someone who is also just looking for returning to work and they've found a coach. What can someone do to set themselves up for the best coaching experience for them?
Well, first of all, pen and paper. I know it's super old school, but there are several studies about the difference between writing and the meaning of writing, how much intention you put into writing versus typing. So that's one of the reasons. But first of all, for them to put their insights in the paper. That means that during the coaching session, you may have certain insights, but after the coaching session, those thoughts and those questions will keep sinking in your head. And it's good to have just pen and paper and keep writing everything that comes up, not only during the coaching session, but after. Then the second element is honesty and transparency. The coach is not there to judge anyone. That's one of the things I also say in the first session. Here, there is a place of no judgment. You can tell me you killed someone. I always joke with that. But you tell me you killed someone. I cannot tell anyone. It's a full confidentiality, no judgment space. And that's the most important thing. So be honest. It's your place to be transparent and to really dig. So, yeah, so that's something that if you go with an open mind, you might be able to find blind spots that you have never noticed in yourself before.
Really
So
interesting.
I feel that these are the main things.
Yeah. Okay. So we come ready to be open. We've got our pen and paper. We're absorbing, and we're there to answer the questions from our coach. How can someone tell that they're actually progressing in coaching, even if you may feel like you're not advancing, you haven't found that job yet, you haven't kind of reached the goals that you wanted? How do you see that someone is progressing?
It's a good question. Yeah, that's why I always bring this North Star aspect to the coaching. So what is your North Star? What is your main goal? We're going to walk towards it. We're going to move towards it, not necessarily getting to the main goal, but creating the infrastructure in you. So first of all, I bring a lot of metaphors during the coaching sessions because I like to explain in which area I'm in when I'm asking questions. So first of all, I joke that we are each person is their own tree. Okay, with their own fruits and vegetables, and we can grow a lot of things, and we have our own tree. And often we are so focused on what is the fruit that is going to come up or what is the vegetable that we're not really focused on the roots of the tree, because the roots of the tree, they are hidden, right? So the coaching exercise first is to find your values and help you feel connected to your roots so you can really get all the nutrition that you need in order to achieve your goal. So first of all, the person is moving forward if they are generally, if there is more self-awareness, if they feel that they are connecting with insights about themselves, and that means connecting with their own values, with their truth, and with their own beliefs. And that's what I mean by the roots of the tree. The second element, so this is really making you stronger and finding that connection to create the structure that you need in order to achieve your goal. So then the second point is helping you when the person sees that they can figure out what they really want, what is important to them, what matters to them. It's really getting to those questions. If they have that, if they have that, I can be sure, and they can be sure that they're moving forward. These are the key aspects.
Incredible. What would you say to someone who feels kind of nervous? They need to be, completely ready before they start a coaching journey.
Yeah, that's the opposite of what coaching means. When it comes to coaching, maybe you might be completely lost, and coaching brings you that structure through the questions, through the question exercises, and we'll create that path structure to you. So as connected to my previous answer, we go through your values, what connects you, what energizes you, what drains you, what are your non-negotiables, what you don't really want in your life, and what you really want in your life. Connect those dots. How can you stay in control of your life, in control of your inner power? How can you waste less time and energy with fear, with victimism, with intrusive thoughts? How can you spend less time with it? And all of these are paths that we can build together in coaching, during coaching. So honestly, you just need to bring yourself to coaching, be honest and be open, and that's all about it.
Isis, you've given us so much great advice and understanding of coaching. I really, really thank you for joining us. I've got a few more questions before we close. What would be your message for women who want to come back to work this year, 2026, when it comes to investing in themselves?
Beautiful. First of all, I believe that what happens often is women, they feel overwhelmed when they want to find a new job and they have this major goal. And either they spend too much time on it and do too much, or they procrastinate based on that fear of the unknown. And all of us fear the unknown, right? So I can completely relate to that. So first of all, structure your days in a way with clear goals. So this is my mentor hat here. But here something that I mentioned that it's very powerful to me. I always select 3 things that I need to do in that day, and I focus on those 3 things. These are my 3 priorities, and these are the things I do. If I check the list in those 3, then anything else is a plus. So just focus on 3 things that you feel that it's important to you.
That's really good advice. We can often get kind of really overwhelmed, have a super long list of things to do, and end up kind of not doing any of it because we're too overwhelmed.
Yes, and another topic that I even put as a note here to mention is the importance of staying on your control zone. It's a very complex topic, and I always bring it not only to coach, but I'm bringing to my trainings that I deliver webinars for bringing women back to work. But staying in your control zone means that you are spending your energy where you can control or influence, and you're not spending most of your energy on what is completely outside of your zone of influence and control. So one very good exercise to avoid that self-sabotage, because when we're outside of our control, we end up feeling victimizing, we end up shrinking ourselves, we end up paralyzing, we end up being on the fear zone, right? So the first question is, when you have intrusive thoughts or there's something really bothering you, ask yourself, is it true? Is it a fact? Yes or no? Because sometimes we lie to ourselves. And then the second question out of that is there something I can do about it? This intrusive thought, this worrying that I'm feeling, is there something I can do about it? And ask yourself, truly, answer that question. If it's something that is in your control, stay there. Yeah, and the third question, there's nothing you can do about it, can I accept it? That's the third question. Can I accept it that I cannot do anything about it? It's a waste of energy and time. So it's an exercise that I keep doing it, and that's my mentor side that I bring to the table sometimes, and it's really powerful.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that advice. I'm going to take that on myself as well. Isis, thank you for joining us on the podcast and for bringing this incredible, incredible knowledge on coaching to our community. We wish you all the best for your work, but also as you continue to coach the incredible women at Bring Women Back to Work.
A pleasure to be here. It was great.
See you soon. Take care.
Take care.